Congratulations, you found it. You've unlocked the only video you'll really ever need to watch on hair loss, specifically asking the question, will I go bald? The test, the famous test created by Nick Shell. Yes, 5 years ago today, this month, I made my first hair loss video. And boy, have I learned a lot in those 5 years. I have a lot of theories I'm eager to share with you. So let's go ahead and get to work. I'm gonna go ahead and put this right up here where you can see it. I want you to be able to, there you go. You can freeze that if you want it. Just press pause. Because we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. We're gonna break this down. People ask a lot of wrong questions when it comes to trying to figure out if they're gonna go bald or not. It's not about loose hairs on your pillow or in the shower. It's not about your temples receding. It's not about your dad being bald or not being bald or your mother's father's being bald. A lot of wrong questions being asked. We're gonna ask the right questions. So here we go. We're gonna ask these 5 questions. And what you're gonna do, we're gonna play a game 3 out of 5. Okay? So it's not about just focusing on one thing. You need 3 out of 5 to help you figure out if majority rules on whether you're gonna go bald or not. This is a theory that I've created over the years based on what I've observed and all the comments coming in. Let's go ahead and get to work. So the first thing, your age now. Your age totally matters. Now I'm 39. I'm 5 years past the magical age of 35. So when you're 35, that's pretty much the age that whatever your hair you naturally still have at that point, for the most part, you're gonna be keeping that hair for the most rest of your life at that point. So my hair pretty much looked this way when I was 35 and now I am 39, like I said. You actually lose more hair before the age of 35 typically than you do after. Now there's exceptions like Johnny Cash. He had a full head of hair his whole life up until his last years, and then it suddenly started falling out. But his whole adult life, he pretty much had the hair. But he had that hair by age 35 naturally. So that's an example of that. So your age totally matters. If you're past the age of 35, you already know the answer. However much hair you've got left is pretty much what you're gonna have most of the rest of your life. If you're 20, lots of question marks going on there. And during that time leading up to it, you are going to find more hair that you're shedding on the pillow and the shower, all that stuff. For me, I don't have loose hairs anymore. I've already lost what I'm pretty much going to lose as far as it thinning out. And yes, it is a little bit thinner on top. You may not be able to notice because of the length of my hair, but ultimately, I don't have that problem. I'm not shedding hair like younger guys are. I did when I was younger, but basically it's like your hair sort of gets calibrated by age 35. That's why it's so important to figure out basically how many more years until age 35, because you need to have that information to know how far away you are from really knowing. So that's number 1. Number 2, look at a photo of yourself at age 1. Talk to your mother about it. I'm sure she has one. I don't want your baby picture. You don't need to look at 2 years old or 1.5. 1 year old. You do this yourself. Don't try to send me the picture. I'm not gonna look at it. You figure this out. I've made a video on this channel before showing my hairline at age 1. That video exists. I've made it multiple times. I made the video when I was age 35 to prove my theory that typically your hair at age 1 is a projection of you at age 35. So if you're only 20 and you don't, man, I can't wait 15 years. Well, then look at a photo of yourself at age 1 to project how your hair will look at 35. It's pretty amazing how perfectly mine matched up from my 1-year-old photo in 1982 until how my hair looked a couple years ago at age 35. So keep in mind, it's not about focusing on one thing. We got to do all 5 of these and see how majority rules. Next, how is your hair now? We got to look at your age now and your hair now. So for example, if you have no visible signs of hair loss and you're 34, chances are you're not going to go bald. However, if you have a peninsula already going on and you're 17 years old, there's a good chance that you will be balding younger. It's not just about the temples, and you're gonna see this. You can watch an older video on here where I showed a VHS tape of myself at age 17 and how I had receding temples. You can look that up on this channel. So it's not about the temples, but we're really looking at the hairline. And I'll talk about that just here in a moment when we talk about the Norwoods. So Next, number 4, did you have a full beard by age 18? For me, I could go a full connected beard by age 16. Now, that is gonna be putting you more in the category of you're more likely to go bald. Have you noticed that men who bald young typically are able to have no problem growing body hair? I learned this while I was in Thailand. I spent 2 summers teaching there, and I realized these men were in their 50s, 60s, 70s, they had full heads of hair, but facial hair, they barely could have a mustache or a little bit of a goatee right here. That was it. And then I realized the opposite was true about other races. And overall, generally, you can sort of figure out that relationship. It's in your DNA whether you are ultimately going to be someone who keeps their hair most of their life, or you're going to be someone who is able to easily grow body hair. So for me, this is more of an exception to the rule because I'm 39 and not bald, but I could grow a full beard by 16. I'm the exception to the rule in my own rule. So just figure that out and keep that in line with the 5 things we're looking at. So number 5, and I've pretty much already said it, your ethnic background. So if you're Asian, you're much less likely to go bald young. Or Native American. See, I have a grandmother who was Mexican descent. Her parents actually came here to the United States in 1920, 100 years ago from Mexico. So a quarter of my heritage goes back to Mexico, where there is a lot of Native American. I actually took a DNA test. I'm like 21% Native American. It's like Mayan and Aztec or whatever. But whether you're Asian or Native American, typically those are people who have less body hair, but tend to keep their hair, which is the opposite of a lot of men of European descent or Middle Eastern, for example. So those are the 5 things. So you ask yourself those questions, figure out of the 5, how do you look at all 5 of those? Look at the majority, 3 out of 5 or more, and that's going to help you predict if you're going to go bald. This video is not done yet because I do need to talk about Norwoods next. I'm trying to cram all this in one video. So don't get caught up on receding temples. Notice that's not in my list of 5 things. It's not part of the test. So receding temples, not a big deal. We're looking at hairlines right now. So if I look at you, if you look at yourself in the mirror and you have a straight across hairline, even if your temples go back, that's Norwood 1, and that's no proof of that you're going to be going bald. That's completely normal for a man, especially as he is older than age 18. Norwood 2 is when your hairline is a triangle here and triangles in the corners. That's not necessarily balding either. That was me at age 24, actually. Norwood 3 is more of a Mickey Mouse. Well, not exactly. It's round up in here. You're going to have circles here, and then you're going to have a circle here. Mickey Mouse is actually more like me, where it's pointed here and rounded here. I'm Norwood 2.5. But Norwood 3 is it's round here, and you may start even seeing some thinning in the back. So that's the first 3 Norwoods. Ultimately, as far as balding status, it would be ultimately anything beyond Norwood 2. So technically I qualify because I do have a hairline that goes up that much and it's rounded in the corners. So that's where I'm at, Norwood 2.5. But I was that way at age 35. So again, my rule is applying here. All right, next up we need to talk about is people are really caught up into trying to figure out if they're going to go bald. And I want to make it very easy for everybody because all you have to do, now imagine, I've been doing these videos for 5 years. I started the first one 5 years ago right here in this spot, the Will I Go Bald, or actually it was, no, that's this video, in the video that I made called Tips to Downplaying Receding Hairline. I made that video, it took off, and I've built a whole channel based off of that one video. So in that video, I have made thousands, well over 3,000 on this channel. Notice there's a search box on my channel. There's a search box on YouTube. You know how YouTube works. You know how to do the search box. All you have to do, I can answer any question you want about hair loss. All you have to do is type in Nick Shell and then ask the question. And I promise you, multiple videos will pop up. I've already covered everything, but I wanted to make this one convenient video there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure I end this at 10 minutes. What I really care about is that you watch my other videos like advice to guys going to college. You can type in that as well as the number 10 and you're gonna see a total of 10 episodes pop up. Those are the things that actually matter. It's like this. It's easy to assume that people are judging you on your hair, but instead there's a list of 10 other things that you're being judged by. So there's a preview of that video and how that actually works. And also I talk a lot about this, that you get to choose to think like a victorious person or you can think like a victim. So a lot of this is how one of my catchphrases is anything you believe in your mind is true. Okay, I know you're gonna be tempted to leave comments. First, check the search box to see if I already made a video about it. And no, I will not look at a photo of yourself. You gotta be responsible. You gotta grow up. You gotta figure this out yourself. I'm not doing it for you like your mom making you a grilled cheese sandwich and cutting the crust. I'm not gonna do it. I'm handing that responsibility over to you. Comments right here.